Hi there guys, Sam here, welcome back to another video, and as you can see I'm going to go through the Porsche Cayman 718, sort of all the models, and the Porsche 992, and basically show you the most expensive and the cheapest at this time period that I'm filming. So I'm filming this on the 2nd of October 2021, just to give you an idea of the car market, where it's at, and yeah, it's something that I've done on my channel before to hopefully give you a lot of good ideas. So let's get straight into this one. So most expensive Porsche 718 Cayman. So this is a car that I do lust over. I'm not gonna lie, I'd love to have a Cayman at some point in my life. And yeah, the most expensive one on Auto Trader at this moment in time is £116,990. Now that has a huge spec, as you can see, PCCBs, 295 miles. It's a 2021 plate, 2 owners. That car list base price is sort of around 77,000 if you can get hold of one. Optioned up, you find it hard to spend more than 100k. I think you could probably spend about 100 grand on them if you really went to town. But this is certainly over list. So that's one thing I want to say. And if we just take a quick look at the pictures as well, yeah, it looks pretty special and pretty immaculate. I mean, as good as new, particularly in this day and age. That's why they're kind of costing as much as they are. And then you can see that there's others up there. There's a nice green one here with only 600 miles for £110,000. Now, some might say and look at it and think, oh, that's actually not too bad. But you've got to bear in mind, this is Porsche's entry-level sports car. This isn't a 911, this isn't a 992, which we're going to go on to in a second. It's an incredible amount of money. And I have driven the 718 Cayman GT4 on my channel, so check that out from the link above. I absolutely loved it on track. So yeah, that's kind of where you're looking at. If you wanted a well-spec'd one today, you're going to be over 100 grand for some of these proper special PTS paints, all those kind of things. So that's where you're kind of looking at, and yeah, sort of just under 100 grand for a couple of thousand miles. They still look quite good though from where I am. Now what really intrigues me is actually the lower end of the market if we go from lowest to highest. Now the reason for that is I just think you get the whole essence of what a car is. So mid-engine rear wheel drive and sort of Cayman shape. When I'm sort of driving them, it doesn't really matter what you're driving, you know, it doesn't even really matter about the engine sometimes, as long as it's got some power. So I'm actually a big fan of the base one, and you know, it's certainly probably more in my price range if I can attain one. And if you look at the lowest end, so this is your base 2-litre turbo. The Cayman, the good thing is the Cayman has been around for quite a while. It's been around since 2016, the 718, replacing the 981, a cracking car. And yeah, the cheapest one is at the moment is £37,000, and that's 30,000 miles, full service history. Yes, it's a pretty base spec. Let's just be honest, you know, base spec wheels, I don't necessarily mind them because I like 18-inch wheels. You can always change them if you want. Very subtle, very under the radar, kind of what I like with my Golf R in grey. And yeah, and it's nice inside. It's a manual gearbox. You know, I'm sold, particularly in this day and age where, you know, we are losing these cars. You know, time is really running out to enjoy a car like this. I love the minimalist nature of the steering wheel, which is a round wheel, few buttons, done. Manual gearbox, right there, sold. You know, nice luggage capacity if you wanted to go on a road trip, if you wanted to take your partner or just a friend. Yeah, I absolutely love them. And actually, £37,000 is the cheapest that you can get one for. And that's not written off, that's just quite high mileage. There are some Cat S's there. I will get rid of, actually, I'll remove. So there's no sort of like Cat S damaged cars at all on this list. Now for reference, I saw some Caymans for sub 30 grand not that long ago. So these have really flown up in value. And as you can see, high 30s is what you're looking at to pay if you want to get into sort of like a 40,000 mile car. I do believe servicing on 718 Caymans is about once every 2 years, so that's quite good. And obviously it's not going to be as expensive running costs as something like a 911, which we're going to go on to, well, basically right now. But look at this yellow one, that's what I would go for. That is probably my dream car to sit alongside my Golf R. Get it in yellow. Not so sure on the black wheels, maybe not. Base, enjoy it, find a fun road, and just have the last of the fun before it all goes away for us with electric revolution coming. So yes, let's move on to the 992. So as before, I'm going to start from highest. Now the highest car is a Speedster with 71 miles, £320,000. You can see why people don't drive these cars, because it's just exceptional money. This is a sub 200 grand car, fully spec'd, and you know, it's gone up by like 120 grand. Yes, it looks gorgeous. It's got the bucket seats. But yeah, 320 grand for a 69 plate 2019 car. Looks stunning though, doesn't it? 4 litre manual, pretty special, but that's the most expensive one. Now, for a reference on range, the Caymans I was doing from 2016 to now, so because the 718's Cayman's still in production, and also the fact that I believe in 2025 the Cayman is going to be fully electric, so I actually think all petrol powered Caymans are probably not a bad buy. Maybe not right now because the market's hot, but it's good to keep an eye on it. And for the because I'm looking at the 992 generation, it's from 2019 till now basically, so that's why these cars are appearing as the most expensive. You've got a few more speedsters at the top, and yeah, there's your first 992 GT3. Again, this car is about 140,000 sort of base, new, once spec'd, probably 160,000 if you can get an allocation. This car's up for 260,000. So, you know, it's got done 1,000 miles, so you could have a car, drive it for 1,000 miles, and make 100 grand. Like, why wouldn't you? This is a manual as well. I mean, what a car. It's got the red pinstripe. I actually drove a GTI Club Sport 45 edition last week. Absolutely loved it. It had the red pinstripe. I really like that look, actually. I thought it's something a little bit different. You don't want to be curbing them, but there you go. And, you know, it's the same group at the end of the day. VW, Audi group, Porsche. It's the same company running it all. So that's always quite cool. Amazing car, £260,000, and it'll be yours today. A lot of money. And then, yeah, you got a few more GT3s, sort of very, very high. I'm going to try and find like a more modest 992, but I think I'm going to struggle. 992 turbos are sort of 200 grand. That's above list. Again, people are just buying them new and then just putting them online or just selling them. You know, it's just a no-brainer. It's easy money for people. So that's where you're at with that car. But let's talk about the cheapest, because it just gives you that good gauge from highest to lowest. So the lowest 992, the cheapest 992 you can get, we're going to have to ignore that 991, obviously registered a little bit later. The cheapest 992 is £93,490. This is from Porsche Centre in Bristol, 6,800 miles, 2 owners, sunroof. I think the 992s come relatively okay spec, and then you can obviously go to town because it's Porsche. Yeah, 992 PDK, 3 litre, it's a turbo, but it's still a quick car. They're bigger now than 992s as well. And again, I love the minimalist, you know, minimalist on the steering wheel. That's really, really cool. So please keep that. Thank you. Most of the cars here are sort of like mid 90s. If you want a 992, pretty much all of them, obviously from dealers, 95. And these cars have done a few thousand miles, so 8,000 miles on this one, all 992s. There's not too many, as it creeps up to sort of like the 100 grand mark, and this is just the base Carrera, the base model that they make. This isn't an S. Okay, there's your first S, 99,500. We'll get you an S, which obviously gets you a few more upgrades, as you can see here. You can get like, well, this one's got nicer wheels, red interior, which again I'm pretty sure you can spec on a standard one, but obviously there's no point, you might as well sometimes just go for it. It's out there, the interior, for sure. But there you go, there's a good gauge between the 992s, sort of around 95 to 100 grand if you're going to want to get one today on the second. But let's leave it on one of the nice, let's leave it on the yellow one. Yellow Porsches for me is like a red Ferrari. That's what I'd always want to go for. So yeah, let's leave it on this nice 992 Carrera. Well, it says Carrera S actually, so this is a little bit more spec at 99,900. But yeah, just as an overview, so 718 Caymans on the 2nd of October 2021, they range from 36,000 all the way up to 117,000, which is crazy. But that's your gauge from your base 2 litre to your top of the range GT4. With the 992 generation, in fairness, actually the Speedster, you know, obviously I believe that was sort of the 991 generation, correct me if I'm wrong, but that ranged from £320,000, and then you get down to the base 992 911 Carrera, which was £93,000. I suppose the most expensive 992 generation would be your GT3 at 260,000. So that's the gauge. I'll try and basically, my aim for this is to feed back every month and to give you guys an idea and a gauge of where the market is at. I do it with other cars as well. Check out the channel. Thanks for watching. Cheers, guys.